Oh, there we go.
Commence primary ignition.
Hi, this is author Timothy Zahn. You're listening to Virtual Cantina Network.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dave's not paying attention to the little windows at the bottom.
Yeah. I was like, Dave, look at the computer. Jeff was like, look, I got it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of our Andor watch along.
Final week.
And we are we're in the end game now, folks. I'm Spencer, one of your hosts for the evening. Ryan Chewy tonight. We have Jeff and Dave. How are you guys?
Good. Oh, yeah. Crazy ending to an amazing season. If you haven't watched it, you really needed to already.
Let's just say that right now, without spoiler alert, is the fact that, damn, they stuck the landing.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue.
Well,
I'm going to be the voice of
They got hardcore up until towards the end more, and then they were like filling in the spots that they needed to and taking you from A to B a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, if this third arc or final arc was last week's, with the intensity of those episodes, I think it would have been a different kind of thing. But this was more of, we're going to give you something crazy, and then we're going to fill in those gaps and get things tied up in the end that lead directly into
yes, people will be far more happy with my reviews of this evening's things if you had me on tomorrow night's watch along, because the final episode will be tomorrow. You don't even want me near that show.
I will say though that I did watch yesterday Rogue One and New Hope, and Rogue One plays differently.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm very
and because I do agree that I watched this too late, because I watched it last night and I watched it too late to immediately go into Rogue One, because I wanted to go into Rogue One because I want to see how I feel about certain things that occur in Rogue One in this light.
Right, with what we know now.
But before we get started, let's just congratulate one of our family members from the Skeleton Crew, Ryan Kira Armstrong, is the new Buffy Vampire Slayer.
That's amazing.
Which is awesome.
But is she the new Buffy? Because you're saying she's the new Buffy, but is she Buffy? Or is Buffy still Buffy and she's the new Slayer?
Yeah, she seemed like she might be a Padawan at this point, kind of.
Slayer born every generation and a thing. Remember the other Slayer because Buffy was dead and then she wasn't dead.
Let's just say that. How's that?
Okay.
But we were talking about this on the pre-show. Is how Sarah Michelle Gellar started off with Buffy and then moved to Star Wars, and now Ryan's moved from Star Wars and moving to Buffy, which is fantastic. Congratulations to her. But it begs the question: is that her star going to rise so high that she would not come back for season 2 of Skeleton
Crew? Disney has a lot of money.
I think. Also, wouldn't they have already been in production for a season 2 if that was the plan?
Who knows? But it's Hulu, so it is under the Mouse House anyway. So
that's true.
It's very complicated thing, because a season 2 of Skeleton Crew would have to take place so much later, and the kids would have grown so much that it's a whole other kind of thing. Because that thing was in the can for years before it aired, and then they're already years older.
Let's face it, Neil would have to. By this time, Neil has hair on his trunk, so he,
That thanks for being the creepy old dude on that one.
For sure.
creeper.
Well, I mean, they had the time jump, but once again, congratulations to Ryan. Also, I mean, I was texting with
Yes, she
her
looked like she
appearance
was very
agent, who's
stoked.
friend of the group, Justin, and he's just ecstatic for her, as he should be. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be cool.
Well, let's
Very
talk about
cool.
some great things. I want to also plug the fact that this weekend is ICC Con in Nashville, and Mark has our booth already set up at booth 825, which is at the front of the vendor room, up on the aisle. So if you're in town for the weekend, please make sure you go see Mark. Go see our family members that will be there all weekend, including our dear friend, Mr. Brendan Wayne. So please make sure that you go over to see it. And his agent, Mike, who's an awesome guy who we do a lot of business with in the future. Also want to plug that coming soon, that was just recorded today, is the Skywalkers with their final review of Andor with Christopher Sean.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And Christopher Sean is going to be talking about Boonta Eve, Texas. Christopher Sean is one of our guests at Boonta Eve, Texas, which tickets are on sale right now at virtualcantinanetwork.com. Just go right to our event page. You can buy tickets for the Boonta Eve special edition. You don't call it not so because we just did not so.
It's not so. It's not. But the VIP is, of course, the soul. What?
VIP is
Let's fight over it.
We sold out in one day of our VIP, so thank you very much to everybody who bought tickets for that. I also want to plug that last night they did announce that the Sack-Off show will be at Rebel ScumCon.
Damn it.
And going on an hour before Boonta starts.
So that means we don't get to hang out and watch. We got to be at Boonta.
The fact was, it was either that or they run against us and we get nobody coming to Boonta.
Yeah, no, don't run against.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better idea. So not
so
competing.
they talk to Katie's people and they're going to start. Doors open for the Sack-Off show at 6:30 with 7:00 start. 7 to 8 o'clock is the Sack-Off show, and we start at 8 o'clock at Boonta, 3 minutes down the road.
See, why doesn't Katie just do the podcast from Boonta? Damn it!
And her guest tomorrow night at ICC Con is Brendan Wayne.
Oh yeah, she's had some great guests lately. I just saw one that she was doing with that where Sam Witwer was her guest.
She just did one with Will Wheaton. And all
I saw that one as well with Wheaton. They were talking about both of them being on some of the few people that got to play themselves on Big Bang Theory.
Right.
Is technically though, I don't know what because she was kind of playing herself, but she was kind of playing Starbuck, right?
Kind of, but the best thing about that whole thing is when they played the thing, they questioned Howard's sexuality, and then George Takei showed up.
When Katie immediately switched to George, that was the best part of the.
But also, don't forget, like I said, tickets are on sale for both Rebel ScumCon and for Boonta Eve Special Edition Texas. Great lineup. Rebel ScumCon is August 8th through 10th in Frisco, Texas, at the Frisco Conference Center. We are going to be on the 8th Boonta Eve Special Edition at Scum and Villainy. Sorry, Scum and Villainy, Rebel Scum. What's the difference? I don't know. But we're very excited about this. All of us are going to be there. It's going to be a cornucopia, a plethora of VCN members going to be there. Very excited about that. And our sponsors are the Wigs, Plum Askew, Mood, author Jennifer LaSalle, My MBTA, and Colebrookdale Candle Company. And if you want to be a sponsor, please reach out to us after the show. We're great to help you out and excited to help you out with all of that jazz. But very excited. We got 3 months before that big event. A lot of really good stuff coming around. The Ben for that.
I need a freaking road case, for an amp or something to carry all the damn helmets I got to carry to that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that today, considering the fact I know at least I have to bring my R1, and I know I have to now bring my FET for JJ. So
and then of course do you need JJ on? Do you get JJ on the Dinjarin, on the Mando helmet?
I don't know. I think I'm going to hold off on getting anything signed Din Djarin until Rhode Island Comic Con, personally, when Brendan will be there.
Well, I already have Brendan on it. See,
yeah.
I need other people.
Yes. So I don't know. But obviously we have a great lineup, and they announced last night that unfortunately he's unable to fly. That Julian Glover will not be coming over.
Little bummer.
However, Everest Autographs is going to be honoring all autographs into the point of a send-in. So if you still want to get Julian Glover on something, you can send it in, and his prices are very, very reasonable. However, they did announce that the face and the body of Wedge Antilles, Mr. Dennis Lawson, is going to be at Rebel ScumCon. So for those who are doing a Wedge project, Dave, you'll be able to get David Akram.
I already have Dennis, but haha.
Yeah, that's another bucket for you to bring over.
I know.
But you can, and from what I heard, this is the first time that they've been in the same building together, but they were on opposite ends of the building. They never saw each other. This is going to be the first time they're going to be in the same
ships that pass in the line.
Yeah. Ships watching. Oh, nice Connery there, sir. But yeah, so that's gonna be actually really cool. Also, like I was talking about this with one of our members. The lineup that we have for Bunta is a complete awesome, like companion piece for Rebel Scum.
Yes.
You got Sam Witwer on one side, and you can get Anna Graves get with us there, or you got Katie Sackhoff and get Anna Graves, or Taylor Gray with Sam Witwer on a holocaust.
Let's see, that's yet another bucket that I have is like right there as I need to drag my Clone Wars, my Clone Trooper bucket that already has Sam and already has Katie. So need Anna right next to it.
Now, Byron has a great question, and Byron did buy tickets for Booty, one of the last VIP tickets. So, Byron, thank you. And thank you for giving up that great lineup in Boston to come party with us in Texas. So thank you for that.
I haven't heard anything about a special drink menu. I know their food and drink will be available, but
so we're talking about them. But however, they have a Whale Hello there, which is a blue drink, actually on their menu. That's not even a Star Wars influence. It's called Whale Hello there with the WHALE, and I'm like, that's funny.
Oh, I remember that. That was like in a chat like weeks ago, and was we were like, "What is it? What are you talking?" Oh, that. Yeah.
Yes, we're very excited that you'll be joining us, Byron. Byron, I know from the Boston Con scene, met him at Fan for Boston, and he came to our meetup at Rhode Island Comic Con last year.
We're all just going to be like ordering a milk and a shot of vodka, and we'll all like have a flask with like blue food coloring or something.
Oh, you can get blue Kiriko, and get that.
There you go.
Need some Revnog. We need a Revnog drink.
But very excited about that event. Excited about the entire weekend. A lot of great actors, and they're still not done with their lineup. So keep an eye out, as well as there is a major behind-the-scenes person that will be announced next week, who was on Light and Magic Season 2, and I'll give you a little bit of a hint.
It's Ski Pruckle.
Yes. This person may or may not have been a surprise somewhere. We were all at some place that was not supposed to happen.
Not all of us, damn it.
Well, whose fault is that?
Yes.
Exactly. But just throw that one out there. But, hey, that's a hint and a half. Just throwing that one out there.
Ogus does need to add Revnog. They should be the ones.
Needs to add several things. We need.
They make weird drinks.
No. Oga's East needs a revamp.
No. I would say ideally they need to do sort of more similar things at both versions of Batu. But yeah, they've just added the High Republic or something at Oga's here in West, and that's a mixed drink, which is interesting. It's got like a wine floater on top, which you got to mix it up. It's much better mixed in. There's also the Mythosaur mug comes with a drink, which I forget the name of, that also has some sort of wine element mixed with beer or something like that. It's kind of weird, like concoctions that they've been putting together.
But still, at the same time, all of us have FOMO about every food item, every swag item, every drink item, and we're like, literally, like we're 3 hours away from one and 6.5 hours away from another, and we're like, the one close to us, we can't get the stuff we want to get. It's like, what the H, man? What the H?
Speaking of stuff,
That's good. That is sad.
My new hat.
I got the
smells
popcorn bucket.
smells as bad, worse on the inside, which is probably my problem. But
yeah, it's a hygiene thing.
yeah, there you go. I do prefer the. There you go. Try to match my energy.
Now, if they had one of those that was like this,
yeah,
that would be the shit.
Like I noticed that over in at Tokyo Disneyland, as hot as it was, so many people were wearing those fuzzy hats that would be sweating your.
They love those.
Yeah,
they also have those at Disneyland proper now, though.
Really?
Oh,
Yes. So those are very popular. There's a difference. The poo in Japan is a beige color versus the more orangey yellow.
It's more Milne poo as opposed to Disney poo, I think.
Right? Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I think Asian Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland poo is more actual like classic poo as opposed to modern Disney poo
with the bright color version,
yes.
Right?
Just let you know, we got our poo together, so please understand that
we got some,
Poodoo.
Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of really great things happening here on the Virtual Cantina Network and also the Virtual Cantina at large. As you may have seen us, we are under 100 members away from 97,000 members in the group.
Wow.
Which will probably hit in the next 2 days. But I'm going to give a little bit of insight right now, is that we are going to be starting the road to 100,000 once we hit 98,000 members. Now, what's that going to mean?
And once those graphics guys get off their ass and get you an actual graphic for that.
That too, but that's not going to announce until we get to 97. Information coming soon, but I'm letting you guys know there are going to be some things that people are going to want.
Yeah.
I hope everybody who's a member are in that drawing.
Open to hosts and admins.
I've been a member for quite some time. I think I deserve it.
But yes, seriously, we were talking about that. You're the longest standing member who's at our first event is now one of the people who's running the page now. So it's kind of like, hey, membership has its privileges. Might not have the hair, but you got the membership card.
I'm in the top 5,000 of original members for sure.
Yes.
But I don't know how many. There's probably a bunch of people that are still active that have been in the group longer than I. I think Bruce might have mentioned when he joined was not long, but before I did. So,
well, even like the Vandalorian. Vandalorian was at.
He was.
Oh yeah,
he was there.
Well,
as well.
Then it's about damn time that Bruce had a show.
Yeah. Oh.
We need a swag show, Bruce. About damn time.
Yes.
Yeah, Bruce is showing up in my timeline as the swag master, as it were, with all these people that are like, look at the swag I got, and I met this guy, and it's like, oh, okay.
I walked by him on the floor trading with people in Japan, and I walked by with my hand over my mouth going, hey, look, it's a swag king, and I kept on walking. He's like,
well, but, when you're giving out patches like this Joker,
that's pretty massive.
That is a massive patch.
Didn't you have a hand in that?
It's got a pin with it. Yes, I did the art for this.
Yeah.
Or compiled the art for this.
See, I just did this little one, which I need to send out to a few people. I was happy to see Matt McCullough at Batu West and hand him over my swag as opposed to having to send it to him. That was very
Yeah,
cool.
I mailed
on May the 4th.
I mailed Matt my stuff. I think he got it during actual celebration.
Well, he sent me his, and I got the Freddy on Vader's shoulders patch, which I was really stoked to get, considering that I've cosplayed in Japan. Is that so?
I actually literally just put a care package out to Matt today.
Nice.
Of his stuff, and I know he's on his way to Nashville as well. So Matt and Joey are going to be over there as well with a whole slew of our family members. But we are about 8 minutes away, so please make sure that you have episode 10 of season 2 of Andor all queued up. What the heck is that?
What, new case or something?
Phone. Oh, that's your new Zach Morris brick. Gotcha.
I have a new phone. Yes, this is
new case as well, right?
Yep, new case. Well, the old case doesn't fit. It's a new
exactly
bigger phone.
I was like, is that like a Tonka truck that you're holding?
No, see, it's giant. Look at that.
But it's also the color that's so bright.
Yes,
I'm used to like mine.
I got tired of laying it down on the coffee table and
losing it.
I was like,
yeah, that's one thing about black.
I'm getting the brightest freaking Dayglow case.
There you go. It looks like a Kodak.
I really like your Atari inspired T-shirt there, Dave.
That's really cool.
I have had this one for a while. I don't even remember where I got this at this point, but this was like.
I don't remember where I got mine either. Oh wait.
I know a guy who can hook you up with that one. I know a guy.
And I also want to give thanks
the same guy who has that sticker sitting right here on his desk.
Aha.
And I'm representing the Navarra Outpost. This is a shirt from the Belgian prop crew that built the stage at Celebration.
If you'd like my shirt or that sticker that Dave just showed,
oh yeah,
look at that link at the bottom. Anywho, but that is a very cool shirt that you have there, Spencer.
Yes,
I actually traded a not so virtual Cantina staff shirt for this.
Oh wow!
I'm like, I don't know why you want my staff shirt, but if you're giving me one of your shirts, you can have it. That's exactly what I said to them. Adrian, I want to give props to Adrian Sublet, who remembers who we saw in Japan.
Yes.
She's on her way over to Nashville as well, but she and her sons will be in Texas as well.
Oh, cool! We get to hang out again. It was fun meeting them in Japan, of all places, and talking for a little while. And
made better in Nashville last year.
Yeah, right. Yep. We were there at ICCCCCCCCCCCC.
C, yes.
Yeah, one of those, many of those C's.
So here's a good question. Frenzy says, "Say we don't get a new Star Wars for another year, but how we just survive the dark times?" I'll tell you how we survive the dark times. The guy who was part of our bumper, the guy who was our bumper, Timothy Zahn, kept us well fed in the dark times because it allowed our imaginations to run rampant. So by the time we got to Thrawn in Rebels, we were primed, especially our age group.
Hey, stop it.
Gave you an option. I was heavily after that I was heavily into the action figures myself, and that was more my Star Wars connection continued. And also things like Discord, but IRC chats. I was very heavy into chatting with people who now are my friends and had no clue who they were back in the day. And we would chat about anything Star Wars.
And let's not forget the Ewoks and droid cartoons.
Oh, okay, let's forget those. But, I'm sure there was an audience for that. It wasn't me.
It was me. I was the audience. Well, I think I have some live hand painted cells from the.
Oh, that's cool.
Here somewhere.
That's cool.
But definitely, we ate well considering the fact there was no live action Star Wars for 16 years.
All of the EU books and things, not just Zahn, but all of the Rebel Squadron and things and stuff, and Skip really reads a lot of those. A ton of that stuff out there, and I am going back now and reliving the childhood and recollecting the original Marvel Star Wars comics. So there's a lot of extra stuff. Yeah, they reprinted the events that we all saw in the original trilogy movies, but there were lots of original stories and random weirdness that happened out in a galaxy far, far away that was tied to those.
Yeah, and there was other authors and other things that came along, which made it much cooler and more robust, which was nice.
And Tom's going to be there.
Tom, I came to the Zahn trilogy actually in the comics adaptation of the Zahn trilogy. That was where I got it first. Sir?
Didn't you get the comic book signed by Zahn?
So I got the hardcover signed by Zahn. I have my actual novel. I think is this one the one that I got? No, because this was my original novel. This was the first one I had it in paperback.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought a hardcover. I think it's actually over on my bookshelf that I got specifically for Zahn to sign. The comics I already had. I got, I don't know, maybe in the 90s, got signed by the person who adapted them for the comics, not Zahn himself.
Cool.
Very, very cool. But yeah, we're about 2 minutes out right now, so please make sure you have your Disney Plus all queued up. But also, like I said, hope everybody over in Nashville has a really great time this weekend. Wish we could be there, but we also okay.
And if anybody's watching in Nashville that wants to, purchase a figure.
Do you call it Truax?
Oh, I have.
Okay, so this is a great question, Frenzy. So if you're going to display your autographs, there are a couple of things you want to do. Right now, there's certain autographs that I keep within, and Dave does as well, in our Itoya binders. You do not want to keep them in a top loader. You do not want to keep them in a plastic sleeve. You want to go to Michael's or go onto Amazon, type in Itoya art folder, and it comes with acid-free paper and sleeves that will keep your autographs very nice.
Or find one in a classroom between semesters that was abandoned.
Yep.
Oh.
Or if you're going to frame them, don't go and cheap out and just buy a regular frame for your autographs. Pay the extra money to get UV glass and matting on your autograph.
Yeah. Matting is the key.
Yeah, you need that acid-free.
The acid-free, but also that you need that little eighth of an inch.
The little airspace.
Markle, that airspace to keep the ink from touching the glass.
Right.
But with the glass as well, you want to make sure you have your UV protected glass, because if you're anywhere near natural sunlight, you can warp.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like if you don't get the UV glass, get the UV glass. But if you don't, you want to make sure that it's a dark room, or you get some darker black.
It's not anywhere near direct sunlight.
It's not in direct sunlight. Like I have a number of autographs and original art pieces over there on that wall, but it's on the wall completely away from the windows. It's not in direct sunlight, and I have darker curtains, so it doesn't shine directly on that.
But we're about that time right now. We'll continue this conversation during the replay. So whenever you're ready.
This episode is off the chain. Everybody get ready. Get your episode 10 queued up on Disney Plus. If you haven't already, it's time to watch.
Season 2.
Yes, not season 1.
No, not season 1.
That was probably a good episode 2, but this one is out of hand. This one was all over. There was a lot of craziness in this episode. So here, let me bring up the countdown, and we will be on our way. So make sure you're good to go, and here comes a countdown.
Yeah, let me address this one real quick. Ray brings up a great point. He says keep all your originals in your Itoyas, and then just have like cheap scans, and then you can throw them in cheap ass frames and put them wherever, because it's not the original. I
I love how far back they went with some of this recap stuff.
Oh yeah, because you needed to know all the
And I still love seeing the
for
bridge.
meeting in elevators.
I love seeing the bridge at Canary Wharf like being used a lot more.
Yeah, they revisited the locations.
I will say that I am glad in time right now. I just got some of my May the 4th stuff in, and I got my
May the 4th. When was that?
I got my Luthen.
Those.
Aha.
Well,
I have to go open up. I got I think it was around May the 4th. Is I bought the Samurai Vader.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yep. See right there.
And
I
also
haven't opened
got the Samurai Kylo.
Oh, cool.
You mean Matt, the radar technician?
That's him in his uniform.
With his 8-pack?
Yes. Kylo Ren has an 8-pack.
Do you frame your 8x10s on their own? Or do you make frame collages? I mean, I don't frame my 8x10s personally. If I'm going to frame, I'm going to do 11x14.
I've seen some really cool displays where people put a lot of things together in larger frames.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm a 11x14 and higher framer, rather than just putting 8x10s on. But that's just me.
So, like, I don't, but I facilitate this. My daughter really likes kind of the Arrowverse and a lot of kind of the new CW Superman's type of DC shows.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is she frames each 8x10 and we kind of make a collage on the walls, right? We don't just frame them. However, she just, puts them in any kind of order, and we'll throw like a flash poster in there. But her photo op with Grant Gustin here, an autograph with Stephen Amell here, and that sort of thing.
Speaking of the Arrowverse, did you see today that both Killer Frost and Iris West Allen were announced for Rhode Island Comic Con?
I did see your comment about Killer Frost.
Yeah, there's a lot of people announced for Rhode Island.
So one thing I want to note about this show is that how they changed the theme every episode, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gets intense. One thing I was disappointed with was that Star Wars intro where they show all the helmets and droids, and they didn't throw K2SO in there for the last episode. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Or last arc, even. But referring back to the gongs is always cool. I really like that idea, although I'd love to see the dude doing it.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
But the way that they pace this show is insane. And totally understandable that they gave us 3 episodes at a time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of interesting things that became canon in these episodes as well. Everyday items and different stuff.
Have you noticed that in the last couple of episodes, the word "shit" has become more commonplace? I mean, it was the first word of season 2, but yet it's the end of season 1. So there's a really interesting article today that I read that Elizabeth Dulau, who plays Clea,
oh, she's
this
awesome.
was her first job out of acting school.
Wow.
Tony Gilroy loved her raw talent and how he could shape her. And and especially in this season, in these later episodes, she was a shining star.
Oh, yeah. Well, this episode, she is just like the star of this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was extremely cool. Like it made her very different in how she got down to business and literally let her hair down.
Right.
These episodes. I said literally
like she is right now.
Down, and it's like now we're a rebel. Now we're going.
Yeah.
Now we're busting out the guns literally out of the wall, and let's go.
When she's serious,
the brains about it, but she was really a lot of the muscle behind the start of the rebellion. At least in this.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I saw a post from somebody on one of the groups I'm in where they imagine a character that's in like the original trilogy as being her character, which
I
you
did
could fit.
that
You can
too,
sort of
I saw
retcon
that
that
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind
she
of fun.
is Captain Rex.
There you go.
The guy who plays Lonnie.
This is insane.
All over like the con circuit, actually in London.
Oh, really?
About small shows.
Talking about the stash, that he's got the
I would love
very 70s throwback.
You know something? He was one of those characters that you thought was a throwaway character in season 1, but turned out to be someone who is like more involved.
Yeah. When we got that amazing monologue from Luthen and he was just sitting there listening to it, it was like, okay, well, what else are we going to see from this guy? And he became a huge player, especially leading up to this point. And what I find amusing is that one of our family members who is in at events and in chats and, active on the page, whose name is Lonnie. Yes. Her maiden name is Young, and Lonnie Jung or Young is like, she's like, that's me. And then I was like, sorry, you get shot. Oh, wait, spoiler alert. Sorry.
Spoilers, no. Lonnie down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need to bring Jumper in.
So this whole thing with this interaction, once it gets to the point where Luthen mentions Yavin, spoiler alert, I was like cheering for Lonnie all the way.
Well, I didn't necessarily see what happened coming, but I was like, as soon as he told them where they were going, I was like, no, you didn't. You didn't tell him where you were going.
Where are we in the...
I was waiting for another Dantooine drop.
Dantooine. We're going to Dantooine.
Why isn't that's weird.
The timer is not moving. I don't know why.
It is moving in my other browser window. But for some reason...
there still. It's going.
Whenever I come back, my view is showing it not moving.
Yeah, now it stopped again.
Is it moving on the stream?
No, it is not moving on the stream. Well,
no, it's the same here as it is on the stream. That's weird. It's moving in the window that I have my other browser. It's up to 805, and then when I switch back and forth, it updates.
Yeah,
which is really weird.
I don't know.
StreamYard, you love us.
Well, at least we're on the air tonight. So
that's true. I don't understand that. I'll try to click in every once in a while and maybe update it.
So, or if you need to, we'll go old school, and if you need to know where we're at, just ask, and we'll.
I can always double check it. It's going in the background. It's just not showing up in the stream for some reason.
After last week's episodes, I went back and watched season 3, episode 18 of Rebels.
Oh,
I need to do that too.
Which is the episode they actually talk about the Gorman massacre, and they broadcast the second speech of Mon Mothma stepping down from the Senate and calling out the Emperor again. So they really canonized the continuity between this and the Ghost.
Yeah, Tony had his shit together for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can, like, I don't know, he is kind of the overall person-y thing now. Is like, was Tony and Dave are like sitting there going, yeah, okay, you gotta do a thing from Rebels. We got to bring it in.
Oh well, blaster to the chest.
How crazy about this? It's a Lothcat is the one who finds the body.
Yeah, the Lothcat sounds like a dog. First of all,
it does, and they didn't say it was. I thought they said it was something else or something.
The guy who's walking it or whatever kind of refers to it as you would maybe a dog.
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah, then it's totally a Lothcat.
And he got capped in the middle of the park during the day.
Yeah. I love this whole exchange with these two.
Okay, see, there you go. It's a Tuca. See, it's a Tuca.
Oh,
What I said, it wasn't a Lothcat, it's a Tuca.
sorry.
So it's interesting. It's the fuel from Gorman, the Kybers from Jeddah.
Yep. Galen Urso.
And
Yada,
the
yada.
little spindly party thingies from Narkina 5.
This, I was like, what is he going to drink here? And then he's like, okay, let's pour this goo on the
It's
communications.
Like, it's, you know,
Yeah,
some weird silver
alien
paint.
blood or something. It's
I will say this, and spoiler alert, is I totally need a photo op with Denise Gao going like this now.
okay. So here we go with your explanation, which is a Tuca is a general term for a small Star Wars. It's like a cat, right? But a Lothcat is a specific breed of Tuca native to Lothal.
So now I got the timer to work, which is weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the Lothal Loth cat. That makes sense.
Yeah. So a Tuca is just a cat.
So I mean, there's a million breeds of cats, right? So
there's is like a Siamese or something.
Right.
So do you think that he was pouring animantium?
I told you it's blood from the aliens.
There you go. That acid blood.
Yes, the acid blood.
There was an interview with Denise Gao a couple of weeks ago. How when she was younger, her mother would make fun of her because she had RFB like all the time.
Yeah.
And then when she saw pictures of Deidre, she called her mother. I was like, "Yeah, see who's making a living after that now."
That's right.
She was talking about how her scowl
face,
got deeper and
Mom.
deeper as she went.
Yeah.
So this whole thing, when that knife came out, I was like, somebody's gonna take a shank. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't see what happened. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, I knew
right in front of the Padme headdress.
Yeah. There was also like the temple guard mask that he walked by a minute ago.
And right behind her is another version of Kalikori.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. He's like, I got a few items of consignment. I'm like, they have consignment in a galaxy far, far away.
Of course they do.
When she dumped this on
she brings out the Starpath unit, and he's just looking at her. It's like the whole, like, you just look at his face, and he's just like,
should have let Cassian grab it.
When I saw that, I was like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
I was just waiting to see if he broke or if he was going to try and play it.
Right. Yeah, I knew that she was like onto him at this point for sure, and obviously showing up at his door, and that was sort of implied. But like, how far on?
I also didn't see the building being surrounded. Right.
Yeah.
I figured she would just be the kind to roll up in there by herself and just with
confront him. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe I was getting as well.
I also think at this time he was also really like exhausted. That
he's been dealing with this for a while.
I don't know. There's so much stuff in Luthen's shop. You just have to freeze frame everything.
Yeah. I wonder how many people have actually documented everying that's in there.
I mean, we saw Sakara stones in there, and
I know in Screen Crush they talk about things that pop out all the time, but I'm sure there's stuff that people haven't fully addressed.
I heard that Deidre and Elizabeth were absolutely fantastic to hang out with during Power of the Force this past year. Our friend Marty Matulis was texting me while he was over in Germany for that con, and said
nice.
He was hanging out with the girls the entire time, and that they were just awesome. It's the life of the party.
Well, they seem very kind of fun in the interviews that they've posted of them.
Yeah.
I love this. And then what have you done besides that?
Turn around or be stunned. It's like, no.
You're going to be stunned, lady.
Yep.
And a different thing. Look at that. So they didn't show him what kind of move he did to.
Yeah, it's like it.
Yeah, was it one of those up the gut things or something that makes sure he's less likely to survive? She starts unraveling at this point, which is amazing.
Well, and they were also like super prepared. They'd like big raid, and they actually had like a med team already there. And
I love that little droid on the gurney.
But she was like, she knew like she lost everything in this moment.
Yeah, she took this risk and kind of it backfired on her.
And now he's got the Iron Man.
Okay, he got that little breather like they had in episode 1.
Yeah, London Fog is going to get all popular again.
Everybody I like the season as well is that you see these ISP troopers that are without a bucket that any one of us can be in a half gear, and if we can't,
but it's different. But I thought that initially too.
It's a variation.
It's not stormtrooper armor.
The chest armor is different. A lot
more like K2SO.
Right. It's more like
you get what I'm saying with that though. Is that it's kind of like you don't have to get a bucket to be a trooper.
You can just have a black version of this hat. You get the armor, which is very much based on the snow trooper armor. If you've ever noticed the difference, as well as the troopers that are like the AT-AT drivers and General Veers wears, but obviously a different color.
Right. Yeah. It does look like AT-AT.
Yeah, that weird chest piece shape is very different than the standard stormtrooper. But I think the rest of it is much more like what you would see from a stormtrooper, like the arms.
And I think the back is different. The back isn't standard stormtrooper back.
It doesn't have that.
It doesn't have the power symbol on it.
Right. Yeah. So that like the chest piece and the back piece, I think, are the parts that are mainly different, and then the rest of it is very kind of stormtrooper-y. That's what they're tagging and bagging everything.
It's so like he looked like he was about to cry when he heard that Lonnie was dead. Okay, how incredible was that? Was it the entrance to the World Between Worlds that they just were going over? The fist, the hand.
Right. They just gotta. Everything is in Luthen shop.
Well, again, you gotta take these scenes and go frame by frame and really like absorb it all.
Well, they got to bag and tag everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
And cataloging.
It gets very desperate in some of these scenes. Now, here in the safe house, which looks like it hasn't been used in quite some time.
See, that's the evolution of this is, I think, really you see as the Empire comes into power, you see the downfall of Coruscant. Because we thought originally when Andor, when Cassian and Bix were in this apartment, or at least I did, how like bougie this was for them, right? It's an upgrade from Ferrix, and they're in this big wraparound window kind of thing, and now it's just kind of trashy and dirty.
Well, when they show the exterior and then the hallways, especially,
it's very
totally get that kind of tenement like project style looking location. This whole thing, this flashback, it took me a minute to understand what was going on, and especially with the perspectives that they show, with the reveal later on. I do like the updated look to Luthen there. Somebody was saying they felt that it was a little de-aging going on, maybe some.
I'm sure there had to be a thing.
No, obviously they gave him different hair.
He looks a little bit more like a dirty version of his character in Thor.
Oh, right.
One
thing I really liked was how you could tell Clea by her silhouette as she's doing a lot of this stuff. and those boots that she's wearing, especially. Like, oh, those are her boots. That she's breaking the wall or whatever. But right here with this viewing through the grate, we were talking about this in after the shows aired on Tuesday in the Zoom chat. Come on by the Zoom chat if you guys ever get an opportunity. We do a lot of deep dives, and everybody gives their opinions and thoughts and connects the dots for things that everybody doesn't get, but some people catch. And it's a great discussion. Now, obviously, there won't be a 3-hour gap in the middle of it because the show is over.
Right. Oh, but see, now here it is. Like Clea, she's going back to being Clea because she's
down to business.
The hair up. She's getting all. It's like Luthen when he's like rehearsing and gets all foppish or
get into his character, right?
In front of the mirror is she's got to put the hair up and be.
But this is a different hairstyle for her than what you normally used to seeing her, because normally she's got the hair down when she's like in business mode when it comes to rebellion business versus
right.
Selling in the shop or having that forward face of the business end of it.
I also like, this is major spoiler, is that they talk about Palpatine and they talk about Tarkin without ever seeing them in the show. So it's like they're looming over the entire time.
Yeah, they're always in the background.
Yes. Puppet mastery. Oh, we're getting speculaty now.
There's a lot of that in there.
Introduction of Darth Talon and the Maul show. Oh, that's a lot of predicting that I'm not willing to do right now.
So that's what you should do. You should be at Rebel ScumCon and you need to ask Sam Witwer that question.
Oh, Sam is a good source of that. Whether or not he'll answer or know the answer, but if somebody's going to know, it's probably him.
On a wild goose chase.
And so, so this if you've watched this and obviously you can hear it. Luthen's original name was Lear as opposed to Rial, which is basically just the name backwards.
Well, and I don't know if his name was actually Luthen. Do you think?
Well, Luthen, I don't think is necessarily his first name, but his last name is definitely a play on his actual last name.
Yes.
Because I don't think they just call him Sergeant in all these flashback scenes.
Yes. Now, here's where I thought this flashbacky stuff got weird. Like, how many kids just randomly go on to alien
the enemy's ship?
Yes. Is like that's
to hide.
Like, wait, how did she just randomly get in the thing?
She had a cat. Was there somebody named Ripley running around the
Yes, is exactly what that was. What I was thinking when you were talking about seeing through the grate is like this is our introduction to Newt, right? So I was just like, Also, I will give you, and I didn't get this vibe completely until later when they like kind of showed. I think this was a real red herring here. I've seen Gilroy saying since that no, it's not intention at all. This really kind of gave me the impression for a while that whoa, could Clea Cassian's sister?
Oh, right.
Was this the attack that happened after the thing?
Yeah, they don't.
It looked like the troopers that are coming on. They almost had the mud trooper look from the Mibian that you saw in Solo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was just like there's an attack. She sneaks on a ship. He'd already been gone.
Right. And she does kind of have a similar look to the young actress that played Cassian's sister early on.
Since we're not going to be on tomorrow night, let's us talk about the fact that we can do a little spoilage right now. Is that we've been talking about all season. Are they ever going to go back to that original storyline that started off the whole show, and we see like a 2-second clipping of a flashback of his childhood.
It was a dream.
In his dream. And it's that much. I'm like, okay, but remember he was in that whorehouse in season 1 in the
That
opening
was the whole
scene.
the whole motivation, right? Yeah. I kind of felt a little sort of like that wasn't enough of it kind of thing. Like we needed more.
Like I said, if you don't want to put me on tomorrow's watch along, there are issues that I have with what they did. I love. Okay, let me start with. I love the show. I love the cinematography. I love what they did. I have some very, I think, minor issues with the story they gave us of some of the characters.
Yeah.
Yes, Sherry, I know. I'm trying not to be spoilery for tomorrow. I'm just saying that if I am in the comments tomorrow night, and I probably won't be because I think we have lacrosse playoffs, but the level of snark and old man yelling at clouds will yeah.
Mhm.
But I also like the fact that I going back and watching Rogue One again is Gerald Draven was a dick in Rogue One, and he's a dick in Andor. Like
yes.
That actor was very happy to come back and revisit this character as well.
And one thing, so let's talk about
these
this
little pods.
Let's talk a little bit about this right now because there's a
new
lot of
cosplay, Star Wars scrubs.
Yeah,
and they're based off of the Narkina 5 jumpsuit as well. So,
so
as well as the outfit the patients wear. Sorry.
So, what was your take on Benjamin Pratt?
You broke up. Say again.
Your take on Benjamin Pratt?
Oh, I didn't care.
I call him Bail Organa because he's almost Bail Organa, but he's not quite Bail Organa. He's Bail Organa.
Like I would have loved. I want to know how hard they tried to get Jimmy Smits. You know, I understand and I've heard that he was involved in some other project or something, but I'm like, damn it, he wasn't in this show that much. They could have like phoned it in or like filmed him in a back closet or some shit and come pretty close.
Well, considering that the interview I saw with I always forget their names, the actress that plays Mon Mothma, she talked about filming the dance scene at the wedding as one of the final scenes, and they had to come back to film that after the actor strike. So theoretically, the time frames could mesh. If you're doing something at one point, then come back and film that at another point. It shouldn't have been such a huge issue, but he did a fine job. But I would have preferred to see Jimmy Smith.
Oh, and a lot of people did, but it didn't like ruin it for me. But there was also a meme out there is that both of Leia's parents were recast because Brea was recast.
Oh,
right.
This is crazy. Poor Dedra. You're under arrest. But yellow variation of the Narkina 5 prisoner outfit. I love how she just grabs the old lady and starts pushing her.
Yes.
You mean Grandma? Mama Coco?
No, it's E.T.'s grandma.
E.T.'s grandma, yeah. She has more of an E.T. look than, an old lady is an old lady, I guess. But it's funny how she's sort of just like, whatever, I'm along for the ride. Yeah, Grandma E.T., as Lonnie said.
Yes. And who is okay? Everybody, like every young actress in this kind of thing, is looking the same at this point because the young Clea looks like X-23.
I was just about to say that.
Very much looking like Daphne Keane, yeah, with that disheveled kind of dirty look.
Also, the forehead.
It's the hairstyle.
Grow into that.
It's what they're doing. Yeah, absolutely. ETs are canon. We're Yes, is it X23, aka Jackie.
Janky.
But yeah, the ETs are there, but this ET's like wearing clothes, right? The other ETs, not so much. So I
Right.
assume
Yeah. In the Senate, weren't they all
naked
undressed?
ETs.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, if you want to say, when Gertie dressed ET in the dress with the blonde hair.
Well, there you go.
Oh, with the hat.
Drag ET is a different. I love the way she gets into the whole back and forth with the bargaining stuff here.
Right. It's like, well, and this is kind of gives you the backstory. They've apparently been like antiquities dealers from the beginning, right?
So they get their hands on something that
the Wookiee has no pants.
Wookiees are naked too. Yep.
And you put them in some lederhosen or something.
Or a Jedi robe.
Yes.
But yeah, they'd been doing this thing where they come across some sort of valuable thing and then barter their way through to more things and money and whatever they need and work their way up ultimately to what.
Well, it's also like a scam.
They have
is that he's got a smart child who knows how to play the game and appeal to somebody's.
Yeah, it is very much a grifter kind of feel. Also, again, I have to mention that I'm a lot happier with this season, just with the few extra background aliens, like the one that walked by.
Yeah, there
ago.
are. Well,
and Grandma E.T. and other aliens in the hospital that we've seen already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, these scrubs are like very like. Can you go get like a Tyvek paint suit and dye it?
Right,
and then Tyvek paint suit and some RIT dye and
add the silver gray accents and that's probably tape or some iron on vinyl or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure that's where it evolved from. They're like, oh, we already have these basic outfits. How can we, accommodate a new location and have these uniforms kind of fit?
I want somebody to cosplay as Grandma E.T. in LA.
Yeah, that's not a challenge I may accept. That somebody else is going to have to do it.
Ordinarily easy because I mean I'm pretty sure you can get latex ET to hit.
Get a mask and then alter it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Make the back end more pointy.
Right. Yeah.
And then a little robe or whatever she's wearing.
Get a Saturday Night Live cone heads and put it on the back of your ET mask.
So there was a cosplayer that was Kiadi Mundi in Japan, and his head basically looked like a cone head. I was like Jedi cone head, and he's like Kiadi Mundi. I'm like,
oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it was interesting how this antiquities dealer has got the monocle that's very similar to what John Williams wore when he was the bartender.
Oh, that's true.
So
I wonder if they repurposed any of the props or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Claya.
Amazon has ET masks for $50. Just
there
FYI.
You go.
So this chain gang was like rough.
Well, with what ends up being this firing squad is pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But then Claya sort of like.
I was waiting for them to start singing the pirate song before they're all hung.
Avenge me! No, I was expecting Red Dawn.
Have them sing the Gorman song.
Avenge me!
Yeah. The We Are Gore is going to be the next chant around Celebration 27.
Very much so. But again, they did some amazing location scouting for this show. Whoever was the location scout went above and beyond for some of these locations, regardless of how much of it is actual versus what they put in digitally or whatever in the background, probably.
I mean, they did a lot of like. I don't think they actually were in Lake Como. They did a lot of like recreation and shooting and
Right.
repurposing that.
Well, this whole area right here does very much look like Italy.
Yeah, there was the location I thought was an Italian location that was part of Coruscant. Ended up being
Spain.
somewhere in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, Valencia.
Although Gore, the Gorman capital, is a city in Italy that they modified to make look more Star Warsy. Granny Scatting was one of the funniest subtitles that I'd seen.
Yes.
She's like, "Bop-a-doo, wow."
Yeah, but it's his paint pants. He's like, get to find like little, I don't know, little yellow booties.
Yeah, little slippers. She's very. I love how she's walking around with the little pad and then
I
concealing her
noticed
blaster.
those, I'm like, well, that's what some people should be wearing on their feet if they're a Marcana 5 prisoner.
I think some people do wear stuff like that.
Fun. There were a lot of people wearing Hobbit feet.
I mean, they're very like jellies. Like from the
No,
80s.
like literally Hobbit feet.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they do make some versions.
There you
And-
go. Location of the next family vacation, Italy.
Yes, there we go.
People.
I give props to the stunt people. Falling down the stairs on your face must not have been fun.
I mean, I have to say this as well, is that, another thing I loved about this was that it was just, to me, it was good TV. It wasn't just good Star Wars. It was good TV. And I think the fact that Tony Gilroy went into it looking to make a good story and not just a good Star Wars story, but just a good story in general.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Made it very compelling that even if this was not based in Star Wars, this would be a very, I mean, I might not have watched it, but the show itself would have been really great. It just happened to be in Star Wars.
Yeah, it is.
Here's the Lake Como stuff.
It did that, but it had enough. It did have enough swarziness to make it swarzy. Is this? I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if we would have cared if we didn't already kind of know where this character was going. That slow burn at the beginning, how many of us would have lasted into like episode 3 without, oh, this is a Star Wars character, we know what he does in Rogue One. I think it might have had to be paced differently.
So Lonnie had a really good comment right here. The music of the show is stupendous. There was if you watch Screen Crush about episodes 10 through 12, they actually had a really good comment about that, how they slowly went from synth music to orchestral to try to get it to Michael Giannotti's score of Rogue One. So
and what they do in the Easter egg, if you watch again, all of the credits at some point, what they do there, that's because you're like, whoa, they did that.
Yeah, it totally builds.
Especially the last episode.
That guy totally looked like an older version of Bale sitting at that table there.
It kind of also reminded me of the last scene of Dark Knight Rises when Alfred looks across
Alfred sees Christian Bale sitting across it. It just kind of like gives him the nod, winking the nod.
And he's sitting there with Selena Kyle,
Yes.
Booyah. Now look. Love how he has to make sure she's not obvious about it.
Yeah.
But also, I think he wanted to show it to her, but at the same time, I don't think he wanted her to have that on her conscience as a kid.
Oh, right. Because she's like challenging him up until that point, and then he's like, "No, I got to be the one that does it."
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of things. Taking over season 1, going to the themes, this thing melded into Rogue One. There was a lot.
Yeah, it's very well done.
It's kind of like the thing where James Arnold Taylor tells the thing about, well, I've got to be Ewan McGregor, but Ewan McGregor trying to be Alec Guinness, and then transforming from Ewan McGregor trying to be Alec Guinness into Alec Guinness being Alec Guinness. And
this is great because they didn't show us the whole setup of her actually setting those bombs on the vehicle.
Yeah, we didn't know that she. Mm-hmm.
And then she busts out the little clicky thing, and look at that, like snub nose, whatever she's got in her hand.
Boom.
It's very more like standard firearm than the normal Star Wars blaster.
Right. Well, and again, Stormtrooper armor, ISB armor does nothing. He's just smacking them. She's blasting them right in the chest
plate.
plate.
Blocked a guy like point blank range, right in the freaking.
Well, that's true too. Well, some of them got shot in the chest. I would have been doing headshots myself, but
right, because that one right there is right. You can see the burn marks right on the chest armor when he's laying down there, and it's just like, what? Why are you even wearing this crap?
This Star Wars Iron Lung,
just to look pretty. Exactly.
Yeah. It does look really cool. The goggles, they do nothing.
We talked about this. We didn't talk about this earlier, but as soon as she came into the hospital, you see somebody actually in a Bacta tank.
Oh yeah, in the background.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of, when I first saw that, I was like, "Is that Luthen?" And then they continued past it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not."
Or it could have been frozen Austin Powers when he goes to cryogenically freeze himself.
And then this whole thing where she has to take him off the life support so he can't be of any use to the to Dedra or her cohorts.
But this, like when you see him actually slowly, his face change, you see the countdown of his heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
It just slowly goes down.
Heart-wrenching.
And her tears, and that kiss on the forehead.
Well, yeah, it was very she'd already gone in the room. She could have just like capped him with the blaster, but no.
She was more.
She was giving her dad some dignity.
Yeah, exactly.
But this, just go back in a second, the slow fade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way that this episode ends.
This mid-bay power, this is very Star Trek.
Oh yeah, it's got some Star Trek vibes for sure.
Yeah, but you need Robert Picardo to come in and say.
It wasn't very much like the medical bay in the Fan Fest nights at Universal Studios. That one looked very different.
Yeah, but that was well,
this supposed to be Next Generation.
That was Next Generation.
Close the entire time.
And fade to black.
Yes.
They go these like deep fades. Like they go slow.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this.
They're trying to milk this as
Look at that. 6 minutes of credits. I really wish they were slower. I mean less, but whatever. All right. So
get out of this.
Yeah, we're gonna pause while the pensive music plays.
I just jumped to the next one, so I'm ready to go.
We'll jump to the next one and then press pause once we get to that. But so Dave, what's your thoughts on this episode?
Like I said, there's a little bit of confusion, things in there. My biggest problems that I'm telling you are going to be with the episode that we're not actually discussing
but
tonight.
For this one specifically.
But this one specifically, my confusion is Clea and finding her way onto the enemy ship, the same kind of mirroring way that Cassian found his way onto the other ship and ended up getting taken away as well.
Oh yeah.
And just they're kind of mirroring that, and you're going like, wait, is this Cassian's sister? Was this the whole thing? But the vast majority of the rest of the episode just it kept you guessing all the time. Is, you know, like we said, is they told him where Yavin, that we're going to Yavin. Like, is he going to get captured? Is he going to spill the beans? Oh no, we're just going to cap him. Is, you know, then Dedra comes in and you're like, well, what happens? Is it going to be like a knockdown, drag out? Is there going to be a fight between Luthen and Dedra? And no, it's Harry Carey. And
right,
you know, but so
yeah,
a lot of suspense, but not really a lot of action like we got in, you know, episode.
It was more of the slow burn stuff.
And was like the pew pew, but this is the suspensey action.
Right. Yeah. I was really rooting for Lonnie to be able to go to Yavin and be like, oh, we get to see Lonnie on Yavin, and then
Lonnie should have been the guy in the tower with the spear, right?
And then that reveal of him slumped over on the bench is like,
or he's the guy in going to Yavin in A New Hope. He's the guy who's got the gun up in the crow's nest.
That's what I just said. The guy with the spear.
There was a guy with a gun too.
Okay. Wasn't it like a radar gun or something?
I thought that was it. They didn't want a gun. That was like a radar gun or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they also joked about that in Family Guy. And he goes, pew pew, yeah, got him.
I wanted to go to Yavin's. Oh, there you go. That's a real place. Family Vacation, 26.
Yeah.
Yucatan.
There we go. Well, Lonnie's saying
Guatemala.
She wanted to go because her name is very close to that character's name.
Yeah, I guess it. Yeah.
So I will say that one of the things I liked about Yavin is we actually got to see it. Obviously, there, you know, the domiciles that they built around.
Oh, the little huts and tent things.
Also, I mean, we can also talk about this a little bit as well. Is just, you know, just like, I was amazed. Like, so I always thought that Mon Mothma was like obviously the face and the figurehead of the rebellion, and then we see that honestly, where she is, the person who's really pulling the strings was actually Bail.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, he was more in charge.
Yeah.
Or more of a.
That's part of my issue with episode 12. It's part of my issue.
Right.
But, yeah. But I'm just very impressed that they went all out and they went back to the original location, because I mean they could have cheaped out and shot this in front of the Rainforest Cafe or something and just used the rest of it as digital.
The trading post on downtown Disney.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They could have shot it at the trading post and
but that's now technically a Christmas store, so wrong one.
Yes.
East Coast is now a Christmas store.
But it was never in a Rainforest Cafe, as unfortunate that we have one in a Rainforest Cafe. I wish they would have turned that into a Star Wars themed restaurant with animatronic Star Wars characters.
T-Rex.
Yeah. Those animatronics are long gone in the old Rainforest Cafe here.
But
anyways,
once again, I want to plug Rebel Scum Con. You know, we're going to be there on August 8th through 10th in Frisco, Texas. We're just outside of Dallas, Texas. What a great lineup right now. Once again, they announced Dennis Lawson last night, as well as a Sack-Off show. But we announced Emily Swallow a couple weeks back. So there's going to be a nice Mandalorian contingent.
That's another damn bucket.
Wow. Yeah. But some great, behind the scenes people too, like Howie Weed. For those who have not met Howie yet, Howie is fantastic. I know Dave needs to meet Howie. Roger Crispin, the guy who designed the original lightsaber.
That's really cool.
That is really cool.
He's some of that I absolutely want to meet. Some more of the pirates, which is really cool, including the Beef, who is like the pig-faced pirate that we pointed out to in Mandalorian. He'll be there with a couple of the other pirates, including I think the Aqualesh pirate.
Johnny Depp. No.
So the one that we said was something like, "Do you fear death?" That looked like Davy Jones. So, like I said, there's some great actors there, and then you got the lineup of we have over at Bunta with, first and foremost, let's talk about right now, Diana Lee Inosanto.
Yes.
Smith, where you can get, Tales of the Empire or Mandalorian or Ahsoka stuff signed by her, which is awesome. Taylor Gray, the original
himself.
Yeah, the original Emperor's nephew is going to be there. And I need that V1 Disney Ezra Saber thing signed that Dave probably has right next to his desk right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. Would I be the person that would have a random toy?
So I need that signed. Yep. Byron Mara J will be there. Sharon McRandall, so you can get the new Legacy Saber signed by her.
I got the original issue of what is it, the Star Wars magazine with her on the cover.
Oh yeah, Insider. That's
yes.
I remember when they came out with that, and it was like, wow, the personification of that character.
Yep. Also, want to plug before Miss Anna Graves, Duchess Satine, which will be absolutely awesome because there's going to be nowhere for her to run when you got MVO interviewing her for a hot seat, asking her about Corky Crease.
Wearing the shirt. He's got to be wearing the shirt.
He's the true Mandalore.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Mara Jade will be there. That's going to be so amazing.
Who's a good friend of the groups as well. Christopher Sean Caziono, also the new Ultraman.
Yes, I was so happy that I found that figure and I got that one signed in California because that was its figure. There's not many of those out there.
And also his father, Chopper's best friend, Senator Hamato Ziono from Ahsoka and Mr. Nelson Lee, who is one of the nicest guys you could possibly meet.
Yes.
Also coming along with Nelson.
I think the characters from the live action Mulan, right? The character in the up right there.
Correct. Also, Dr. Penn Pershing himself, Mr. Omid Abtahi. Very excited to see Omid again.
And he's a great guy.
Also, and again, so many multiple properties because not just Dr. Pershing, that he's in
Clone Wars.
Is that Clone Wars as well?
Yep.
So, damn it, I'm bringing the bucket. Might as well get him on that bucket.
Absolutely. Our good friend Warren Prue Jr.
Yes,
very excited to see Warren. Warren's always a great guy to chat with, who's been in like everything.
He's been like one of the minions in every freaking like group scene.
Well, and of course,
Stormtroopers
I've shown before is like really the Obi-Wan like action figure that it looks more like Warren than it looks like you.
Yeah, remember that discussion.
That figure,
like maybe Warren was the one that they did a head scan of before they.
I need to get this
together.
Ewan's picture, but the figure itself that looks more like Warren than it looks like Ewan. It's like.
I had the Funko of Obi-Wan riding the Yopi, and that was actually Warren.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like the only thing I hate about this one is it's the one without the freaking window.
Right.
Glad they decided to abandon that.
Yeah.
Our good friend Mr. Fawn Davis from Ireland and
cool.
Funko.
Very excited. Cat bot.
Yep. Very excited about Fawn. He had a great time with us in Japan. I was very happy to hang out with him over there.
He was very loud in that room, but he did his thing, so that was great.
He was great, and he's all over Light and Magic Season 2 as well.
Right.
Which was fantastic to see him as part of that. Who else do we got?
People.
Martin Latulis.
Stuff.
Our good friend of Pirate Vane, and also, most recent member of the 2025 Virtual Cantina Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And
he was.
I'm going to announce this right now. So Dave and I sat with Marty at the premiere of Andor Season 2, Episode 1.
Lucky people that got to be on the big stage.
And we discussed it during the episode, well, before the episode happened, but it was confirmed last night that watching Rogue One with us next week will be Marty.
Nice.
Excellent.
Now, Marty's not
He's
in.
amazing, that he's in all these great properties, but then is also such a huge fan.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
But no, it was, and he was saying that we joked about how in London he wore a Vane T-shirt and no one knew who he was when he walked on the floor.
Yeah.
But he was actually being recognized on the floor in Japan.
Well, but that was the fun part. I'm sitting there, sitting 2 down from Marty, and I'm watching as people are coming in, because where we were sitting, the crowd is basically filing
in.
Right? Yeah. And so you would see people, and they're just like walking in and looking, and they would look, and then they'd keep walking for 5 or 10 steps, and they're like, whoa.
Double take, right?
Yeah, the double take and look back, and Marty, and a couple of them walked back and spoke to him, and it's like, oh, yeah. That was fun.
We have a few more guests.
Marty
we do.
Let's see who else we got.
Talking about buckets right there. Yeah. I've already got this one.
John is a great guy, too.
This guy is already – I'm amazed that – I had no problem talking about this. We did reach out to – someone reached out to us and said they have 25 items that need to get signed by Mr. Morton. Is that okay? And
I'm pretty
sure he's okay with that.
Man. Yeah. It would be absolutely fine. I myself have multiples and would still consider another one, because I've got him on my Boba Fett bucket, but I also have a snow speeder with the Dak action figure in it. Yes. He was so thoughtful about signature.
Oh, I remember your story about that.
Oh yeah. It's like we had to take the gun off so he could sign underneath, and it had plenty of space if I ever get Mark Hamill to sign it. And I'm like, okay.
Great Thank you for thinking that might happen, but
but yeah, it was amazing.
We also have another
Boba,
JJ Dashdown,
helmeted characters.
JJ is the man. If you've ever watched some of our old episodes of the Watch Along with JJ, his stories are hilarious.
Yeah, and the amount of characters that he's stunt doubled specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Is just amazing. Anybody with a helmet on, and then his own character, which is really cool that they actually gave him
snarky
a face
deputy.
Character, dumbass deputy. More
doppelganger Scott Summers from X.
Yeah, he does have that kind of a little bit of a look of.
Well, also he's a grown-up Shark Boy, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. In that shot right next to his face.
Right, is a grown-up Shark Boy. It's not what's his face, who was a little bitty Shark Boy, like Taylor Lautner. It's like no, JJ is grown-up Shark Boy.
I obviously, besides getting him on bucket, I need that shot of him on Mushi.
Oh yeah, that upper corner shot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That for sure. But we have one other guest, the amazing Pam Riddle, who joined us in LA here, and
this is Pam's first travel show. She's never done a travel show outside of California.
So, I remember talking to her about being on a watch along or something, because she knew of it through Leilani,
right?
And she's like, I don't know if I would be, basically kind of implying she wasn't good enough to be on one of the watch alongs. And I'm like, you'd be amazing. People would love to hear your stories and see you on the show. And we still haven't had her on, but maybe after one of these we
should.
But the thing is that both Jeff and I have had, Jeff more so than I have, but I've had many conversations with Pam in person or online, and she's just a sweetheart in herself.
I was really stoked at least a couple cons that she, saw me and singled me out and came over and said hi when I was like in cosplay, because I'd shown her my Mando, and she's like, oh, I recognize that armor. And she beelined over and said hi, and that was really cool.
You see, one of us recognized that armor.
Yeah, I know, huh? 2 sets of armor didn't get recognized at that show.
But also, don't forget, our good friends over at Hyperspace Props will be doing Sabak.
Oh, we don't have that graphic anymore.
No, it's fine. Sabak added in. They will have, obviously, Kessel Sabak, as well as new add-in credits, and maybe they'll have the new game that is shown
Yeah, I'm waiting on those. I've ordered the new ones. These are just my old ones.
Right.
Oh, the
I've
game
ordered.
that they're playing in where was it?
Yeah.
In the
and that,
base or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
the game they're playing drunk-wise, trying messing with
Yes,
with
with K2.
which is hilarious.
Yeah, him trying to like calculate everything based on previous interactions is probably
also,
my favorite part.
Live band karaoke. We talked about this on the watch
yeah.
along. We have not done live band karaoke since the event that shall not be talked about back in 2017.
Yeah, I know. Can't mention that. Redacted.
Well, wasn't there a second version of that before we had to alter the name?
Yes, but the thing is the first version was live band because it was at Rising
because it was
Star.
at Catch a Rising Star. Yep.
So
On City Walk in lovely Orlando, Florida.
That's before my time.
Yep.
It was an interesting event.
But still, we keep on talking about it. Now that we're talking about, we've done 5 celebration events, 5 special editions, close to 100,000 members now, in 8 years. It's pretty remarkable if you want to look at it overall.
And only 3 of those events were pre-pandemic, right?
Yep.
2017. Oh no.
2.
17,
19.
Yep. Two events prior to the pandemic, which was, considering that it continued to grow and has kept going after that, but
And
also wouldn't be virtual Cantina otherwise.
And we can't talk about it, but when we can, you're going to be happy. That's all I'm going to say.
It'd be great. All right, so we should probably start the next episode. It's like 11 on the East Coast here.
And where's Skip to complain about the time? Come on. Should have had him
playing the part of Skip today.
I got to go to bed because I got to feed the horses.
All right, so here's the let me find the countdown again. I got the timer reset, and here we go.
Yep, no skipping the recap, even though we were just there.
Yes, definitely want to watch the recap. I love me a recap. It makes me remember things that I didn't necessarily remember as clearly.
Yeah, the one
they recap from all way back and all the things.
Well, yeah, these ones especially.
Rico round May the 4th is they actually had the saber doing the swoosh on the
Did I not notice that?
Oh, we've been waiting for them to do, and you're watching the Disney Channel.
Every Star Wars show should have a saber, and they can do different.
That's one of those. That's the what is it? The what do they call the thing that didn't happen? Like Sinbad.
Oh, the
Mandela effect thing. That's it. Never happened. Like
false memory that you
cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom.
Right. Tag. Yeah, I totally remember that. It's for some reason.
Yeah, but apparently it didn't happen. Either that or it's a government conspiracy and Fruit of the Loom gaslighting us. It could be that. Go.
They're trying to play it off. But I still think they should have added K2 to the opening Star Wars thing. Would have been good to see his little helmet up there.
It would have. I wanted more K2 in the whole arc and this whole deal. I wanted. So I also read a thing that there was way more K2.
The whole episode, right?
Tudyk was giving this talk or something, and that there was written that there was way more K2, but it didn't.
Wasn't there going to be like a whole origin story episode I'd heard it was going to be reminiscent of Alien?
Yes,
which would have been insane.
But it's like, you gotta cut something somewhere.
Yep.
And that's one of the things. But again, K2SO, a Star Wars story.
There you go. And they could do lots of. This is great with this.
I saw an interview with him They said, so how do you feel that K2 is not going to be coming back, for season 3? And he actually said, well, ain't that some bullshit?
Well, yeah, the thing.
So one thing that bugged me about K2 is when later on, because this is a heavy K2 episode, or is it this? I don't know if it's the next episode of this one. He talks about being in an Imperial parade.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's this one because we're going back to Coruscant.
It's like, why was he not wiped multiple times since then?
Well, but see, they talked about that a little bit there, which is it's not really droid wiping, or it's not really the cortex or the core or something that in his memories. It's keeping him from killing you. It's impulse control or something. Okay. It's all the engineering and the wiring.
He did say he was reprogrammed at that point.
They gave a
sort of a vague reasoning.
Yeah, it's like basically he has like a governor on him to keep him from killing people.
Well, yeah, that would be like a restraining bolt or something. I'm sure that they could put on him.
When they bring in Gorman, when they bring Cyril into that back room, and there's all the K2 droids right there, and K2SO is basically like, as everybody turns away, he's still looking at Cyril the entire time.
Gotta love a dead trooper. So I hadn't heard if there was any involvement of any garrisons in the filming of this season.
I don't
think at this point they have.
Like, I got to find out what episode Sam was involved in, because Sam did some shooting in this. Dave Santana did some shooting.
Mm. Oh, okay, cool. Is that the photo? It's not the photo they have together. That was from. That
was from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got the shot of Dave drinking out in that famous shot of Canary Wharf.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's cool. He's one of those helmetless troopers, right?
Yeah, he's the one actually sitting right next to the sign drinking. That's actually Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking at this point Lucasfilm has enough.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that they had probably stockpiled some armor.
Yeah.
And then all these variations, you'd think it'd be way better for them to either have it produced or produce it themselves or whatever, but have it on hand.
Season 1, they admitted they went into the archives. Season 1 Mandalorian, they went into the archives and started pulling stuff from the original trilogy that was still in good shape. Remolding.
Well, I know that the scene with Moff Gideon was filled out by 501st members in that season. So.
Oh, speaking of that, Mando Merck says there's like a Trooper Fest going on in Orlando in November. Ooh.
Oh, cool.
This was the scene we were been waiting for all season.
Krennic and Dedra.
Yep.
Well, they had bad cop and even worse cop.
And he turns the camera off, so there's no record.
Well, yeah. This is again Star Wars. This is really Star Wars in another genre. This is not Star Wars space fantasy anymore. This is like Star Wars Law and Order or some shit.
Gritty crime.
Boom, boom.
Whatever drama.
Yeah, this really is it right here. This is him being this is Serpico or whatever, which is actually this is the genre that was popular in theaters right before Star Wars came out, right? Gritty cop show kind of
like Clint Eastwood kind of stuff, or
and literally like Serpico, right?
Was that was around that time? I don't remember what year it came out. I thought it was more like early 80s, but that would still kind of put it in the same place. But a lot of that kind of stuff, and with like it kind of with the detective parts kind of reminded me of Columbo, but that's a TV show.
Serpico was December 5th, 1973.
Yes.
What 1970? What?
3.
Oh, okay. So I was way off. So there was a lot of that in that time frame with the sort of off the rails, unorthodox detective or whatever. People that would be deep undercover doing crazy stuff here.
Like Crazy Mustache Dude.
So I like the last names that they decided for some of these characters, but there's a lot of characters, especially in the rebel camps, where they're like named Sam. Or
Yeah.
weird, like I mean, stuff that doesn't feel as in universe. Orson Krennic. Orson obviously is, most of the names are standard names. It's just a little more exotic. Orson is pretty badass.
Having Ben Mendelsohn back was fantastic.
Oh yeah, this like last episode was all about Luthen. This episode, like deep into Krennic and getting monologues from him to fill out the amazing monologues that both seasons of this show have had.
They got a little weird with the lighting on this. It was distracting me that like his cape is a very like yellowy off-white as in the lighting, and hers is all whitey white, and
but hers has also got a gray tone to it. But they're like different grays.
Yeah,
I love that.
Like your uniforms, you would assume there would be the same, but yeah, he's like poking.
I feel bad for Dedra. She's been assaulted a lot this season, like physically assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
The way she's like.
Well, the thing about her, let's say that her and Cyril's story were very much mirrored. It's interesting that they both had a fall from grace, and try to redeem themselves the entire show.
There was speculation that she would turn up because she talked about being an orphan or whatever. That she would turn out to be Cassian's sister.
Yeah, but we're going to be speculating that
Leia as well.
Everybody's finished.
Yeah, but you do the math and that gets weird too. That was one of those things that I don't know that they like the Empire.
Oh yeah, the math is way off for her age, right?
To have been in kindergarten or like pre,
Yeah, her age for that time frame. Maybe that was. Yeah, it doesn't mesh because she's obviously much older and less. She's a weird variation that ages.
Well, yeah, of course, there are people. That's always the Star Wars go-to is, well, she's not human. They don't age the same way. She's humanoid. She's not human.
Right, exactly. More assault.
But yeah, I mean, they're sitting there. I think they did the math, and like the maximum that she could possibly be is like 18. It's like, no.
Yeah, I think it was. I heard 19 maybe, but yeah, it was somewhere in the late teens. It's like, yeah, she's 40, maybe 35. I don't want to be negative.
I'm not. See, I'm not even guessing.
I won't go there.
You.
I put my foot in my mouth. I have no idea.
The default when you're guessing a woman's age is at least 16. That's what we're going with. Yeah, there we go.
I also like the bureaucracy and the fact that when they had to go to security to see cameras, but also you got the head of the hospital like pacing in the hallway. Like, why do I have all these ISB officers around my hospital?
Well, he got the way that one dude put him in his place, or does put him in his place.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not gonna let us go look at stuff. All right, you're arrested for like withholding evidence. Wait, what? Yeah. All right, you can see it.
This guy's like, don't fuck around, dude. Let's get this shit done.
He's like, yeah, maybe you get my cousin in there. No.
Okay, so I was generous with my age guess. So, anyways, she's older than what I said.
Oh, well, there you go. I couldn't really particularly. She's one of those people that I would not even venture a guess. I don't even know how old that actress would be, because she looks completely different as Dedra as she does like when she showed up on the celebration stage, like in a publicity promo. Does not look like the same person. Same thing about like Genevieve O'Reilly. She doesn't look.
Well, she's really also got different color hair. Well, not a lot, but she's like got blonde hair versus Mon Mothma is very red. There was a piece on her that showed her getting talking about the wigs they had for her, and getting done up by the people that were doing this show. And
I want to give her also up to the fact that Caroline Beckstein is still alive, the original Mon Mothma, and she lived long enough to see Mon Mothma get her flowers.
Oh yeah,
More than
be more than a throwaway character.
Later,
or not throwaway character, but
yes, but opportunity missed. Why was she not given a cameo?
Yeah, she could have played that that force healer lady, because she kind of that lady kind of looked like her a little bit.
Yeah, that would have been an easy one. She could have been the force healer lady. She could have been Grandma E.T. Something. Throw her in there. I don't care where.
Grandma
still,
E.T.
the fact that she got that she got to see her character.
Oh yeah.
Live on through.
Oh yeah. That the fact that she originated it, and now it's
had already seen that
expanded
because she was. You knew she
having
was
the animated version.
Right.
I love this whole juxtaposition with her doing all this crazy jerry rigging.
Yeah,
and then them doing the investigating and breaking down where she was and how she. The dude's like, it's 3 people. Coordinated effort.
Well, yeah, because they've got the thing wired in through different places, and like I said, the guy, the IT guy, was sitting there going, "Oh, this is amazing," because they've got the thing going through like an antenna next door, and
that whole thing, yeah, that's pretty funny.
And she's working out the old school Morse code.
It's more like it's almost like one of those. I'm sure that's actually what it is now that I look at it. It's a stenographer or whatever, the court reporter. They have a keyboard that's very minimalist, and they do combinations to do letters and stuff. It looks very much like that.
Because I was starting to worry if StreamYard wasn't working, because I was seeing your comments over there, and I was like, "Wait, why are Lonnie's comments not in here?" Welcome back. But yeah, is you're right. It was like shaving a haircut or something. Dun, 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 dun. It
seemed very simple.
Said. It's not actually even. It's a burst. It's not even translatable. It's just the code. You had to memorize it.
Right. It's sort of like his knock, which was 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pause or whatever. I need to get a Marty McFly jacket with a little Breebly on it.
That, but also when she's like, "What do you have hidden underneath your bed?" I'm feeling like, did he find it? Did she find his stats?
He's like, "Phew! I'm glad you didn't find that other thing." She would have never found it if it didn't start making noise. So that's a good thing. This is a great scene, like you had mentioned before.
Phrasing. But, yeah.
I loved how they did more with Melshi. Like, it was a throwaway character in Rogue One.
Yeah. No, they bring that all back. And this is the coolest part of having K2 in there, right?
We're on 11 now, Lila.
Yes. We are in
time
11.
Code is,
we are 16:03-ish in.
Yes. And they're in the scene where they're playing this Sabacc type game.
Pokery thing. I think this was more pokery, wasn't it, than Sabacc?
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever their space games are called besides Sabacc.
But it kind of also reminds me of the in some ways, because they got some sort of dice in there. Remember the Bones game that played against Davy Jones?
At least they're not playing rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
That was awesome.
5 hands or whatever they called it.
Yeah, no, that was
conspiring. This reminds me a lot of also the Dejarik table with C-3PO trying to reason with R2 about how he's playing against Chewie.
Or what about in Rise when Finn and Poe are like, he's cheating, he's totally cheating.
Yeah.
Okay, we're kidding.
Here's your return. Isn't this one of the locations outside of near Canary Wharf?
Yep.
What?
That
No,
bridge.
this is the inside of the Epcot ball.
Oh, this part,
Inside
yeah.
of Spaceship Earth.
This conference room is definitely.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it was that, then that spinner would be broken down and we'd be stuck.
And you would be turned around riding backwards.
First family vacation, when I rode that, we broke down twice.
I've never ridden it. I've never even been in that park.
I have never broken down on Spaceship Earth. No, always
That was the
working
last
on
time
it.
I rode it, but I'm excited because. So, Dave, you remember when we were kids and underneath Spaceship Earth? That's where you made your reservations for for restaurants, and it was a big communication center.
Yeah, where the all kind of exhibits and little placey things are, that they're actually slowly kind of taking most of that stuff back out of that.
Well, they now have a 21 plus bar in that area that they just opened up.
I have not been there since that has happened. There you go.
Yep.
That shows you that the people are getting old. Is now there's a bar under Spaceship Earth where there was a ball pit and a playground.
Yep. Because I remember before, though, you had to make reservations, that you'd go there, you get a touchpad where you want to go, and then someone come up on the screen and say, okay, just to confirm, 2 of you at China at this particular time.
Mm. Yes, learning more of the space games.
I love this. You're sounding more like Tarkin.
It's interesting to see sort of the juxtaposition here with him and Dedra first, and then him and Rapscallion or whatever the hell his name is, where he's more like the aggressor versus being sort of the subordinate in Rogue One.
Well, he was flat out just saying, save your trouble for Palpatine. There's some, and he's like, well, I should have been on Scarif 2 hours ago.
Yeah. But he's more aggressive and more the aggressor and less the aggressee as he is in Rogue One, which is kind of cool because he takes a lot in Rogue One.
Right. Yeah, but you see right there that K2SO's chest is about the same as those ISB.
A very similar
armor.
design. I noticed that when I first saw his look, that he had some of that kind of, but altered. They probably took a 3D rendering and started manipulating it, like John talked about when they would do some of the ship designs. They just take a shape and then tweak it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I loved is that obviously they had code names on their trailers, so people, paparazzi was going by or people were taking a picture, and Alan Tudyk's was Old Pal.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Wasn't Mon Mothma's was Jane or something like
Joan.
Mm-hmm.
Noah's wife of Ark.
Yeah. But apparently Diego not so much the pleased with his. But the rest of them sounded really good.
I do like how Cassian and K2 are already very kind of familiar and chummy with each other, but has been a year, so.
Yeah, well, see, there's so much of the story that we could still see. I don't think.
Right, that whole year could be.
Yeah.
Could come in some form or another.
Tales
of the Droids, and we have K2 and his interactions with Cassian and other stuff. Or a flashback to that parade that he was in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's he's in. Palpatine was there. It's like, oh yes, that's great.
So you know what he looks like, and when you see him, you can kill him.
Yeah, that would have been a far smarter plan than a whole lot of this. It's why didn't we just program K2SO to go kill the Emperor? Star Wars, written and directed by. And you're done.
I love this. That jump is really cool.
Yeah.
Here you can see Dedra's starting to come a little unraveled. Like her hair is getting a little more messy.
These are also very Star Trek-y prison cell-y things.
Yeah. A lot of stark kind of white. You mean Lear?
No, we didn't know. Everybody's this and that and the other.
That's one thing that's interesting is that they didn't come to that realization that he was somebody else. Or at least I don't remember hearing any mention of that.
Ooh, now in stock. Cassian Andor Rogue One jacket. De Nuevo Novo.
Oh, cool. I'm sure there'll be variations of it available everywhere. Somebody was asking about that somewhere. I saw a post.
I love the fact he's like, just tell me some stuff. It might help you get out of jail.
And she's just like, I don't know about that.
See how they stripped her of her bars?
Yep. She has to like give up that info though. She has this like she's been working on this so long. She's like, I'll tell you. See, now if she hadn't said that thing about the radio, they would have got away a lot cleaner.
Well, yeah. If she hadn't given up this is what they were doing, look in the old files, yeah.
Basically, all that info she gave him is what was the hurdle they were trying to get over at this point. Gotta understand, man.
Check out this guy's life preserver. The dork
Well,
thinks he's town.
Right.
He must be in the Navy, Coast Guard.
It is fun that they've like got all this stuff that they're really kind of giving all the credit to Luthen. It's like, no, Luthen did this. He set this whole mess up. But again, they've done locations. They could have filmed this whole scene like in the control room, like in the queue for Rise.
Yeah, that background screen.
If you end up on single rider, you'd end up missing it anyway.
Yeah, you'd never see it all yet.
Yeah, you'd come in and right before Rey. Oh, there's one of those screens in that room.
Yeah,
that you'd entered into. And I've always thought they should have had an animatronic behind it because there's space for somebody to actually be there if they didn't want to have a cast member.
you should have just poured water over the whole system.
So now, I don't truly understand why his ship is called a U-wing.
Because as soon as it's not the U, it like comes back.
Yeah, it's more like a traditional plane. But when it's a U, it still has the main like cockpit area in the middle where it makes it kind of look more like a W.
Yeah. Well, and did you look at it?
And
like
then it turns into
when they sit there and the landing gear comes out, it is the crappiest design ever. It has to be a dead level flat surface. If there's like a rock in the middle of that,
it won't
like a rock this big, it's like, no, you're screwed. You're denting the bottom of the hull. It's like, could the landing legs be longer than 3 inches? I don't know.
That's all it needs. I love how she's like freaking out. She's been up for however long. She's trying to stay awake for the cycles to pass.
Yeah. Oh, and then just randomly somebody's sitting there, and it starts to be the beeping.
She's back to the cycle. Luck of the timing here.
Jinx, Laos, Max.
Bloop, 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 bloop. But see, yeah, that is not a U. That's completely backwards wink now.
So why?
Yeah, it really is.
It looks like the divining rod we see coming up. Some of these rooms are crazy.
I don't understand the whole level of like this city in Coruscant. Is he just zips in, flies in, does whatever he wants to? There's no air traffic control on Coruscant. Right. Somebody's gonna die.
You'd think there'd be like some sort of officers flying around trying to keep some sort of traffic order.
Yeah.
And he just cruises wherever he wants to. Rattling windows, buzzing the tower when he's not supposed to. His ship also gives me sort of vibes of the Onyx Cinder.
Yeah.
But way scaled down.
Well, again, this is the Star Wars, and we question yet, like, why does it even have wings? Because they, have some sort of
technically need them.
Technology. Yeah. Like, what does that do?
Everything could be rocket shaped, but it's cooler with wings. I do like that shuttle design.
Yeah, I like the paint job on that.
See, there you go. These guys have got all sorts of different. The armor is got a different back on it. It almost looks like the back of like a window unit air conditioner or something. Uh-huh. There's where you source the part.
There you go. Make a mold.
Yeah.
K2 and his complaining is always funny.
It is.
But I like how he's proactive ultimately. Spoiler alert.
Well, yeah.
As opposed to waiting for instructions he can't get because of comms issues.
Well, he just leaned back. He's like, now what am I doing? He's looking like maybe he has a radio or something that he should play.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like calcium.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, he's putting it in Chewy mode.
How about the new excitement about the new smugglers that the engineers are actually going to have stuff to do?
I haven't heard any specifics about what the roles will be or how they'll change. But I guess Mando missions, get to see him fly by the ship or something. What I really want them to do, which would add a lot more kind of fun to the end of the ride, is when they talk about, Hondo says, if you haven't been on Rise of the Resistance, here's a spoiler. Says there might be some kind of thing on the hull, and that's what's delaying you getting unloaded from the ship. And really, all they have to do is have a arm that flops over a Minoc, just like onto the window, boom, and it could wiggle, and then They could do something like zap it and it would fall off or whatever. And you could see that from inside the ship if you were looking around, and that would be fun, a little jump scare at the end. If they incorporated that into that ride, it would make it a lot more fun, I think.
Yes.
And I've been saying something like they should have done something like that ever since the first time I rode it. Yeah, this place is definitely run down.
Yeah,
knocked on the door and Clea says, "I'm a meat popsicle."
Well, I was thinking it's more like, he's starting to believe. It looks a whole lot more like Neo's apartment, a hallway.
Right.
But isn't that the hallway Corbin Dallas lives?
Well, yeah, but the hallway where Corbin Dallas lives is a lot even like cleaner than this. It's a lot brighter,
better lit.
Yeah.
Smoke you.
Oh, wrong answer.
Candygram.
Power wash.
I love how he busts out the ghost detector thing.
Yeah, the TKE meter.
I find that I kind of was like confused at first by this whole sending back a signal thing. He's starting to look more like young Rogue One Cassian, which is kind of interesting how they kind of cleaned up the character, because he was getting kind of disheveled for a while. Oh, it's a handy little device.
Okay, here you go. GalaxyCon, Oklahoma City. Get your favorite star's autograph immortalized on your skin with Galaxy Ink immediately. They've got William Shatner. What is his face? James Marsters. Danny Trejo. You get Danny Trejo's signature and just immediately inked right on you. Giancarlo Esposito, who has a lovely signature. Don't know that I want it permanently on my body.
The thing is, we could do that at Rebel ScumCon because they just announced that Ink Fusion, Mark Draven's company, is going to be in Texas with us.
Okay, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna get my copy of Kentucky's tattoo.
Well, the Snake Eyes blood stripes.
The 63rd symbol of the I Ching.
Yeah. When you saw that when we were hanging out with Kentucky, you were like, ooh.
It is very nice. I have some modifications that I would like mine to be a little bit different than that, but yes, I was like, oh. Yes, the most frazzled we have seen Clea. Again, mirrored with her hair coming down. It's, yeah.
Well, she's been up for ever.
Yeah, and this like moving down the hallway. It's like you got the bigger, different versions of these troopers. The ISB troopers, you've got big, giant, like wrecker-sized guys and stuff. It's not all like same height, kind of medium build, like stormtroopers.
A little short for a stormtrooper.
Actually, Luke is a little tall for a stormtrooper.
That big guy did with the gun. I think of him almost like that guy from the J.J. Abrams Star Trek. Come with me, Cupcake.
Cupcake. Yeah.
This whole thing with K2, like in the background picture here.
Oh, the fresh one?
Lots of slaps. And
fresh ones will be given.
He's back to his manhandling of humanoids and others. It's like that little reveal was, I felt, a little too obvious that they weren't going to open the door on the right apartment.
Yeah, the KX droids, like they kicked butt. But
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of that's hard to understand why they chose to use or not use certain.
well, why didn't they keep Droidicus? Where were those guys?
Do you notice that when the old couple was there, the wife was like concerned, the husband was there with a cup of coffee in his hand, like, whatever.
And there's these guys again.
Uh-oh. Honing in on them.
Music stops.
This is a great like battalion look with the 2 different size. And we're in the credits again.
So let's watch
Yep.
the credits because we really didn't watch it last time. I was thinking we jumped ahead to see who we know.
Tony Gilroy, I know that guy. George Lucas, I know that guy too.
Happy
Kathleen
birthday
Kennedy.
to Maker.
Kathleen Kennedy, I talked to her at Celebration. Diego, I've never met.
He was nice for 2
I don't
seconds.
know if John Gilroy. I don't know who that is.
Yes, I did not get to meet Diego because rolled out of there early. But
Alan, I've never met.
Alan's awesome.
Tudyk?
Mhm.
Tudyk is very cool. Yeah, very cool. Like I said, when I met him in Japan, it was just I had to get a Firefly figure signed as opposed to Star Wars.
Well,
So
there you
they
go.
talk. He did an interview on StarWars.com about. He's like, yeah, this is when I landed the ship on Coruscant. It was very clean, unlike other ships I've flown in the past.
That's right. I am a leaf on the wind.
Mm-mm.
So it's a nice little nod to the, Firefly.
Carl Caffrey. I don't know who that is, but he's got a good last name.
He's your father's brother's sister's former roommate.
Possibly.
TJ Falls, is he related to the details?
What happened?
There you go.
Mine jumped to the next episode.
Oh, Neil Scanlon.
Not yet, but it's like asking me if I want to. It's like
Just going
made the credits so small I can't even read them. So
Yeah, they put them in the corner as well. Anyways, that was crazy.
oh yeah, now I have like a Fight Club Hulu commercial. It's like no. Hulu
So look
commercial.
at this right here. Look at names right going through. Puppeteers: Aiden Cook, Colin Purvis.
They're puppets? What? They're not what?
There was at least a couple of good ones.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, for watching Andor with us. It's been a lot of fun, and don't forget tomorrow night that the girls are back to do the final episode of Andor.
Yes. Go watch episode 12 for the 5th time before you watch it again with everyone tomorrow.
Yep. And then next week, as we mentioned, we are going to be watching Rogue One with Marty Matulis, which will be a lot of fun. And in 2 weeks, we will be watching A New Hope, which is a nice link way, considering the fact that episode 12 ends like an hour before.
Yeah, it's like I've got to decide between now and next week. Do I want to go watch Rogue One this weekend and get it fresh in my mind before we go watch it again with Mark? I don't know. Is because really after episode 12, if it hadn't been so late last night, I really wanted to go confirm my feelings about some things, because after episode 12 I feel a certain kind of way about certain characters, and I'm like, damn it. But
right.
I don't know if I'm going to feel that way after watching Rogue One again through a different lens this time.
Right.
We will see, but also, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget, in 3 months, we will be in Texas for Rebel Scum Con. Tickets are available for Rebel Scum Con as well as Boonta Eve, Texas. Right now, if you go over to virtualcantinanetwork.com, you can get Boonta tickets, or if you go to Rebel Scum Conventions with an S, you will get tickets for Rebel Scum Con. Very excited about that. Like I said, a lot of us are going to be there for that, and we also have a contingent down in Nashville right now for ICC Con. So if you're down there or you're planning to go, please make sure you talk to Mr. Mark Truax. We also have Adrian's going to be there.
Remind Mark that Dave needs a custom figure.
Right. And then also that Liberty and Andy and Matt McCulloch are there, and Tony, the Star Wars Sith, is there. So a lot of our friends. And also Mr. Brandon Wayne, too. But Jeff, anything you want to close out for tonight?
Just incredible season. Tomorrow they're going to have a lot of wrapping up to talk about.
Yep.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of wrapping up that happened there.
Right.
You know,
so
there are things that got wrapped up that I was not expecting to get wrapped up.
Yeah. We get to revisit B2 Emo at least. All right. Anyways,
you mean the if you build it, they will come scene at the end of Andor?
No. There were there are other things. Like I said, I have very specific issues with what they've done with some characters.
All right, we'll talk about that on Tuesday.
Yes, absolutely.
But anyway, please join us on Tuesday for Happy Hour, which will go over our thoughts of Andor overall. But Dave, if you want to close out.
Watch all the other shows. Watch all the stuff. Like I said, we got programs coming on tomorrow night. We'll have another episode of Jedi Archives this weekend, and Monday is the Clone Wars Revisited. They're moving along. They've got some special stuff coming up, but right now they're watching along, and they're just going. They're in season 2, episode 4, I believe, is what they'll be doing. So, check it out. And then, yes, come join us on the Zoom. It's like all of this, us talking, but you can talk back and say things and ask questions and be there.
Excellent day.
Yep. Nerf herders this week.
Oh, the Nerf herder councils this week. Oh, yeah, I think are they gonna wrap up are they gonna talk Andor, or are they gonna do the Potter?
I think they're doing Andor.
Okay.
And of course, next week with Rogue One.
Yes.
Lots of fun.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Spencer with Dave and Jeff saying, may the force be with you.
We are the Gore. Where's my graphics?
We have family everywhere.
That's it. I have friends everywhere.
Yes, that's the one.